Welcome to ISE 2023 with AVNation.tv. This is Rich Fregosa, Uncle Richie, here at the show, and I'm actually with David Griffiths, who is the VP of Global Sales for Datapath.
Indeed.
David, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
First chance for us to meet, so I'm really glad that we got a chance to have you stop in. Before we get, obviously, we're a technology conference,
Yep.
and we'll get into the tech because you've got great tech to talk about. We were here over the summer, and it was kind of the delayed 22
Yes.
ISE. And we were just talking a couple of minutes ago before we started recording that there's always that hesitation. What was it going to be like coming back? I think a lot of people were encouraged by it. We're back on schedule. We're on our dates.
Absolutely.
We're in January. Unfortunately, in January, I feel because it's a wee bit colder here than it was
Yeah.
in May. But we're recording on the first day of the show, and we've had the opportunity to see what the expectations and the lines and the attendance was going to be like. Tell me a little bit about your first impressions of the show in 2023.
Indeed. So it was always a surprise of how good Barcelona might be. So back in May we weren't sure. Well, now we're starting to see that deliver, and everything we've seen so far has been very strong. We saw big queues for people, queuing to get 30 minutes to get through to get their badge to come into the show. We like to hear that because we know they're going to go onto the show floor and come and see us on the way through. And that coupled with obviously the visit today of the King of Spain as well. So it just brings added emphasis onto the AV business, really. So over the moon so far. Still early.
It's still early, but so far the trends are looking good. I know
Very
I just
much.
came from the other side of the halls for our interview, and so definitely working my way through the crowds, which is awesome. We're going to talk about Datapath a bit, but one of the interesting things that we talk about is that the companies are still made of people. We're in technology, but it's always personalities, and we're passionate about what we do. VP of Global Sales is a pretty wonderful title. It's kind of an all-encompassing title.
Yeah.
How did you find yourself, with Datapath and in that role?
Yeah, so my career in AV really started back in '91 when I joined as an engineer, and it was working with CRT projectors. I miss those things.
Mm-hmm.
So studying
I
projection
still
business.
have my long screwdriver dialing in CRT2.
Yeah,
so.
I can do Scheinflug if you need it done. I'm sure I could remember how to do that. But so moved from technical into sales, and I've been in sales now for over 30 years. That was, say, a projection company. 3 years ago, I moved in Datapath. I've been focused on control rooms for over 25 years now, and that's something that obviously it's been strong in the Datapath DNA for 40 of their years since they've been operating. So very proud to have found my way through the AV world and family. And as you say, it's all about the people. I look on a lot of stands, I recognize the people.
Right.
In fact, very sadly today, I'm speaking to some of the guys and they're saying, I'm retiring this next year. It's like, come on, we're not ready yet.
Not
so
yet.
It's been a long ride, but it's been fantastic because it's all about the people. Technology changes, the people luckily stay within the business.
Well, fantastic. So it is a technology show. Let's talk a little bit about Datapath. You're here, obviously, at the show. What do we have in store for 2023?
Yeah, so 2023 for us, what we're really talking about is Aeteria, which we launched last year here in Barcelona, but we're seeing now the next evolution. So we're talking about very much around Aeteria Workstation, because we've realized, if you look at a control room, what's a control room? What's the real purpose and who is it it's been used for? And it's all about the operator. Mm-hmm. So we're really spending a lot of time thinking about the operator and adding benefit to their part of the business. So for them, it's about having access to all the sources they might need. It's been able to share information on their display, so their own monitors, whether it's their private information, so things like Outlook, web access, everything else, and then sharing data that's appropriate to the business. So we're trying to really make it more easy for them to operate. So when they want the data, it should be available to them. It should be able to pop up in the right space on their monitor, because they're often in multi-monitor environments. So we create preset areas. So you expect that piece of data to arrive there. It does. If you want to interact with it, you just click on it and our KVM control comes in. So all about simplicity, making life easier for the operator. And then we'll bring in the added complexity of things like video walls, where we want to share data between different areas. So there they can click a button and they're able to share to video walls, all through different resolutions, so 4K, HD, different screen sizes, different types of displays. So we're trying to make just things simpler in the operator environment.
And let's talk about that. Again, it's it's a lot to have to manage to begin with. So let's talk about kind of the real use cases that you've
Yeah.
seen this. How does an operator, I mean, because again, it's a lot of information to be able to preview, work with, but then push out for an audience. How can an operator kind of expect on a day-to-day if they're basically you're giving them the wheel?
Yep.
What are some of the key features that you're finding that you've kind of developed to ease that process?
Absolutely. So, number one thing, an operator is not a video wall controller person. That's not what they're there to do. They're there to do things like public, emergency services, run networks, transportation, whatever it may be. So they're focused on different tasks. The video wall is typically going to be a helicopter view, a worldwide view of everything that's operating in that control room. And from that, they're doing then task-based systems. So they're operating on, it could be switches, it could be video cameras, it could be any type of data that they're going to make decisions on and make a change. And it's about getting the right thing at the right time in the right place for them. So we very much talk about anything, anywhere, but we put security around that as well. So anything they're allowed to see, so other people can decide if they're not allowed to see that data, and we can keep it then secret as well.
We'll talk a little bit about that, in terms of being able to, because that is with the nature of, again, we were talking about CRTs.
Yeah.
And I remember the days where I was actually, we when we talk about editing, cutting, splicing our splicing our cuts
Done
together.
that, yeah.
But with the free form of information, how can they say you've got an operator, but you do have, say, maybe a TD or somebody who's going to be providing the overwatch on it?
Yeah.
How does that help them?
So we've got user rights management as part of what we do within Aeteria. So we can set for each source where it's allowed to be, who's allowed to see it. And also, even when we populate the source on the screen, we'll make it so that it goes into a bordered area so it doesn't overlap. For example, I don't want to hide safety information with another window. God forbid I blow up a plant because I wasn't able to see something happening. So we're quite clever about how we try to populate and really display the data at the right time to those operators.
Okay. If somebody's fortunate enough to be here at the show floor, what can they expect to see?
So yeah, the good. So we've got Aeteria Workstation prominent on the booth, along with a number of video walls. We've also got our hardware devices as well. So you'll see a new VSN, which is our processor system. You'll see the next generation. That features things like the latest power supplies and hot swap fans, and you'll see a whole range of our capture cards. Plus, beyond all of that, you'll see our wonderful team as well, so you'll be able to interact with the sales teams.
Well, opportunity to see everybody. Great. Now, if somebody isn't fortunate enough to make it to Barcelona, how can they find more information about Datapath?
Yes, so we have a wonderful website. It's www.datapath.co.uk.
Well, there you go. You've made things easy for me. So if you want to find out more information about Datapath, you can find them on their website. If you want to find out more information about our coverage at ISE 2023 in lovely Barcelona, you can find it on our website at AVNation.tv. For AVNation.tv, this is Uncle Richie with Production.